Who are you calling fat? Are you calling me fat? Does your butt look big in that dress? The CDC releases protocols today that encourages those who are at high risk of severe complications from COVID-19 to not take cruises at all, whether you're vaccinated or not. Huge news. Let's talk about everything right now on Island Time. A big weekend hello to all you Islanders. First, we want to say to those of you who are getting on a ship today and tomorrow from Florida to Texas to, yes, even now, the Carnival Panorama in California, have a great week. If you just returned from your cruise, let us know how it was. One more piece of housekeeping business before we get started. We are going live. That's right. Island Time Live is tomorrow, Sunday, 7 o'clock p.m. Central Time. Join us. We have a ton of fun. It is very interactive. We have games. We share tips, tricks, information. We talk about the latest news. Plan to join us tomorrow, 7 o'clock p.m. Central Time, right here. The best way to do it. If you are not an Islander yet, why not? Subscribe to our channel, ring the bell, and it will notify you when we go live and when we post new content. Let's get right into the news because this is breaking news. We just mentioned yesterday how the only thing constant in cruising right now is the changing protocols. And for the majority of the time, the last month or two, cruise lines and local governments and islands have been the ones to establish and change and modify and enhance protocols. But today, we are hearing from the CDC, and they are changing cruise protocols. The CDC said late yesterday that travelers who are at high risk of severe complications from COVID-19 should avoid cruising. Whether or not you're vaccinated, you should avoid cruising. The updated guidance also recommends that travelers who are not fully vaccinated avoid cruising. Now, you know that cruise lines right now are cruising with just about everybody vaccinated. There are very few adults who are not vaccinated. Those who are not vaccinated right now are children under the age of 12, or there is a small group of children that are over the age of 12 but are not vaccinated. Some of those families are receiving exemptions. The CDC has come out and said if you are not vaccinated, adult or child, we recommend that you do not cruise. Again, it is not a requirement. These are recommendations. In addition, the agency is not putting the mask protocols that we see in airports, on airplanes, and other forms of public transportation. We thought maybe that was coming from the CDC, but it's not. They did not say that you need to wear a mask while you're indoors on a cruise ship, even though cruise lines like Carnival Cruise Line has made that decision, and you do have to wear a mask in certain places indoors. So we were surprised by that. The agency advised all travelers to get tested 1 to 3 days before cruising, which cruise lines have already enacted that, so that matches up with what's going on currently. And they recommend that you get tested 3 to 5 days after you return, even if you're vaccinated. They're also recommending that if you take a cruise, that you quarantine for 7 days when you get back. And that is even if you're vaccinated. Remember, these are recommendations. These are recommendations, okay? So those are some of the recommendations, but the majority of the recommendations come after this. If you have some of these conditions and you're high risk of contracting COVID and having a severe case of COVID, the CDC recommends that you don't travel. And yes, weight is one of those conditions. Let's get right into it. They said that older adults or older individuals should not cruise right now. They did not give a specific number. And age, of course, is a number. Overall health of an individual is a much greater reflection of should someone cruise or not than an individual number. So we're not going to throw out a number out there and try to guess what the CDC means by this. We're instead going to look at some of these conditions. You know, even if you're 50, 55, and 60, not saying that that's old, Islanders, but even if you're at that age and you don't have some of these conditions, then you would probably okay. So here we go. People with medical conditions. These are groups of people that the CDC recommend you do not cruise even if you are vaccinated. Let's talk about it right here. Here's the groups of people, okay? Those who have cancer, currently have cancer, and who may be having a weakened immune system, chronic kidney disease, chronic lung diseases, including COPD, asthma, cystic fibrosis, and pulmonary hypertension. So any breathing issue at all, the CDC is not recommending that you cruise even if you have the vaccine. Those with dementia, those who are type 1 or 2 diabetic, that covers a large amount of Americans. Heart conditions such as heart failure, coronary artery disease, and hypertension. Those who have HIV, those are who are immunocompromised state. You have a weakened immune system, which that group, as you probably have heard, are eligible really, really soon, right now, for the booster shot for the vaccine. Those with liver disease, overweight, and obesity. So I have mentioned diabetes and now overweight and obesity. Again, there's different, there's different numbers there that help you land in an overweight category or an obese category. And then there's the morbidly obese. That's never been a good term. I don't like that term at all, but it's out there. You talk about cruise ship capacity. You talk about Carnival selling at 70%, Royal Caribbean at 50%, Celebrity about that 50% range. Some people say Carnival is too high at 70%. Do we want to lower ship capacity? Okay, let's go by this. Let's go by these recommendations. You know, just like I do, there's people that on cruise ships that fall into one of these categories, either the older category or one of these that I have mentioned. It is capacity. We're going to have what, 10 or 20% capacity. Salad bar is open, all you can eat salad bar. That's the only group of people that's going to be able to cruise if we go by this. Those who are pregnant, you're not advised to cruise. Sickle cell disease. How about this? Smoking. Current smokers and former smokers. You're not encouraged to cruise right now, even if you have the vaccine. Solid organ or blood stem cell transplant. Those who have had a stroke. And those who have substance abuse issues. How about that? Recommendations of groups of people who should not cruise. I know a lot of people who fall into those categories, and I'm telling you, if we took these recommendations for real, it would be interesting to see what cruise ships look like. Now, what does this mean for cruise lines? What does this mean for cruising? Will cruise lines take these recommendations that have been given to them now by the CDC? They are official. They are on the website. Will cruise lines take these and somehow try to enact them into cruising? Will cruise lines say, hey, if you're diabetic, nope, nope, nope. COPD, no, no, no. You smoked? Nope. You're a little bit big. Don't cruise. I can't see that. I can't see that right now. Now, there are some conditions maybe that are more serious than others, that have more of a high risk of a serious case of COVID-19. But I don't see cruise lines picking this apart as the CDC has given these recommendations and saying these people cannot cruise. I don't see it. Would cruise lines start to limit passengers based on these protocols? I don't think so. I really, really don't. It's going to be interesting to see what Carnival Cruise Line and Norwegian and Royal Caribbean and Celebrity and all of them do with this. Should you adhere to these recommendations? That's the big question. These are recommendations literally that the CDC has put this out, and they suggest you, if you're overweight or obese, don't cruise. I mean, it's not like we might throw this out there. They have thrown this out there. Should you follow it? That is a personal choice. It really is. We've talked about this fluid situation, and it changes all the time. Maybe you do some things that you haven't done before. Maybe you've never purchased travel insurance. And maybe now is the time that you start to purchase travel insurance for the first time ever. Which, by the way, I usually don't encourage you to buy travel insurance through the cruise line, because you can get it in the private market for much cheaper for about the same coverage. But I would recommend you right now, if you're buying travel insurance, to go through the cruise line. The coverage that they're offering right now is very, very good. And yes, it's more expensive than the private market, but it is what you need. There's no questions asked. They are offering it. It is what you need. Maybe you purchase that. Maybe you change the way your cruise looks for the first time ever. Maybe you wear a mask places when it's optional. Maybe you take the stairs instead of the elevator. That way you can alleviate being around groups of people in closed spaces. There's things you can do that maybe you haven't done before that may change your cruise experience some, but may keep you safe. I'm not telling you not to cruise. If I went by these recommendations, I probably shouldn't be cruising. As of now, I'm cruising. I'm going to be comfortable. I'm going to be respectful of others, and I'm going to do my best to be safe. And that is both listening to the CDC, listening to the cruise lines that I travel, and using common sense that I have and that I know works. It's very interesting. Let us know what you think. Do you think that these recommendations from the CDC will change cruising and what cruising looks like? Do you think that maybe this broad audience of cruisers and islanders will see this and say, you know what, I fall into that category, I'm not cruising right now? Share your thoughts on this video below. And again, if you have not subscribed, please go ahead and do so. Be notified when we produce content for you, which is just about every single day. We can't wait to see you tomorrow night, 7:00 p.m. Central Time. We will also have a news show with Cruise News Sunday during the day, but we will see you tomorrow night, and we can discuss this right here among other things. We hope you have a great Saturday, and we will see you tomorrow right here on Island Time.